Russia is not likely to get a regular or nuclear aircraft carrier anytime soon. Simply put, carriers are too expensive, and smaller helicopter carriers are a higher priority. The Kremlin is focused on purchasing 2 helicopter carriers in the medium term. These smaller aviation ships, which displace just 15,000 tons of water each, could cost a few $billions each and should be much simpler to operate than a full-size flattop. Russia could eventually replace Admiral Kuznetsov, its only conventional flattop aircraft carrier that isn't very reliable and was damaged by fire, with a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. Russia could do so, but it's unlikely that it will. In reality, Russia is unlikely to acquire a conventional or nuclear aircraft carrier soon. Simply put, carriers are too expensive, and smaller helicopter carriers are a higher priority. Ford's contributor however, Sutton maintains his faith. Sutton wrote in mid-February 2020 that 2 competing designs, the Storm and the Lamantin, are in the running to replace Kuznetsov. The Nevskoy Design Bureau of St. Petersburg is behind the Lamantin proposal, while the Nevskoy Design Bureau of St. Petersburg is behind the Nevskoy proposal. In 2019, a scale replica of Lamantin was on display at a military exhibition in St. Petersburg. This design would move about 90,000 tons of water, which is a little less than the 11 supercarriers in the U.S. Navy. It could hold up to 60 aircraft, which is about twice as many as Kuznetsov can hold. The Storm is a bit bigger and was made by the Krylov State Center. It can hold up to 90 planes, which is about the same as an American carrier. Reports say that Russian President Vladimir Putin looked at new designs for carriers at the beginning of January 2020. Back-to-back accidents involving Kuznetsov undoubtedly increased Putin's sense of urgency. In October 2018, the 35-year-old Kuznetsov was severely damaged at the 82nd Repair Shipyard in Rostyevkovo, a northern port, when the PD-50 dry dock sank while it was undergoing maintenance. The PD-50, which was made in Sweden, was the only big dry dock that could keep the largest warships in the Russian Northern Fleet running. The fleet's main northern bases are thousands of miles away from Russia's other big dry docks. It might be too hard, expensive, or time-consuming to move the piers or the ships that need to be fixed. In addition to the expense, foreign sanctions complicate the procurement of a PD-50-like dock. Izvestia says that the Kremlin thought about taking Kuznetsov out of service instead of spending money to buy a new dry dock, move an existing dock with a carrier, or find another way to fix the flattop, which was old, unreliable, and prone to accidents. Izvestia quotes a Navy source as saying that not everyone agrees that repairs should keep going. There are differing opinions, including those that conclude it is better to build a pair of frigates or a nuclear submarine with this amount of money. It was said that by spring 2019, a new dry dock would be built that, in theory, could fit the carrier. In Murmansk, Russia, the No-35 ship repair plant has 2 600-foot-long dry docks that yard workers could put together to fit Kuznetsov. Russian media say that on December 12, 2019, diesel fuel caught fire on one of Kuznetsov's lower decks. After a disastrous trip to the coast of Syria in 2016, the aircraft carrier docked in Murmansk for maintenance that had been planned ahead of time. As firefighters struggled to contain the blaze, it grew to encompass 6,500 square feet. According to TASS, 1 person was killed and 10 were injured in the incident. 6 were admitted to intensive care. The fire damage complicates the restoration plan. The value of Kuznetsov as a symbol of national prestige must be weighed against her poor condition and the danger she poses to workers and crew. Putin and other Kremlin officials might think twice about building a carrier if they knew how much it would cost to build, run, and maintain. The United States Navy invests approximately $13 billion in a new nuclear-powered flattop. Annually, Moscow spends only $70 billion on its entire armed forces. Samuel Bendet, a researcher at the Center for Naval Analyses and a Russia Studies Fellow at the American Foreign Policy Council, says that the Kremlin will pay for a new carrier in the end. Bennett stated, "This is now a matter of national pride for Russia. Wanting a carrier and constructing one are two different things," he said. "I believe Russia will attempt to extract as much mileage as possible from the Kuznetsov before retiring it. However, since Russia seeks a blue water presence, an aircraft carrier is essential. However, there are big costs involved in building something like this," Bennett said. "That's why it's taking Russia a while to get its resources to decide who will replace Kuznetsov. In the medium term, the Kremlin is concentrating on purchasing 2 helicopter carriers. These smaller aviation ships, which displace just 15,000 tons of water each, could cost a few $billion each and should be much simpler to operate than a full-size flattop." Two sources from the Russian shipbuilding industry informed TASS in late 2019 that the 2 assault ships will be laid down in May 2020 at the Zalev shipyard in Crimea. The former defense editor of the National Interest is David Axe. His graphic novels include War Fix, War is Boring, and Mashik Squad.